YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to Followers Wrath. My name is JD, and last week we did a very fun playthrough. We did a playthrough of Pokémon Crystal using a Pokémon I'd only ever used on a team, but never done solo, and that Pokémon was Heracross. Now, he ended up getting a top 12 finish, and Heracross is a pretty solid Pokémon, but this week we're going to be doing an optimized playthrough. What that means, we're going to take Heracross, we're going to know where it struggled in the game, where we need to do better, and we're going to play through Pokémon Crystal again and try to beat the time we had last week. We're going to see what happens. Right now it's a top 12 Pokemon. Can we get into the B tier? Can we get in the A tier? Is the S tier a possibility? We're going to find out. Let's go and dive into the playthrough. First thing we do is look at our stats. Stats are HP is 80, attack is 125, defense is 75, special attack is 40, special defense is 95, and speed is 85. That being said, we're going to dive into the first battle of the game. It's against our rival. Our rival's name is Triple Question Mark, as per tradition, and we are a bug type, so we gave him the Pokemon Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil's fire type, bug type makes sense, and we named our Pokemon Hercules. Now, Hercules is going to come out and is just going to obliterate the opposition here. Tackle is going to do more than Seismic Toss, and I'll explain why we have Seismic Toss here in a minute. But we're going to beat our rival. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. And we're going to progress right on, do some training, and we'll talk about this Pokemon. We're a bug fighting type. We're in a slow level up rate. Those things I went over last week, I'm not going to go too far into that. There are some issues with this Pokemon that we'll talk about later. This Pokemon could be significantly better if just some things were slightly different with this Pokemon. And like I said, I'll go over those a little bit later. In an optimized playthrough, we have the option to take a move from either our breeding move pool or our event move pool. It's something that can make this Pokemon that, like, you can actually get this Pokemon to have these moves to start the game. And one of the options was to go with Seismic Toss as an event move. Now, my Gen 1 brain thought Seismic Toss, this could help with our Ghost problem that we have in our second rival battle, but it doesn't work like that in Generation 2. It's that damage move does not, if it's not the right typing, it will not hit a Ghost Pokemon, or at least this move won't hit a Ghost Pokemon. So Seismic Toss is like almost worthless. It is one or two niche things that it helps with. In Union Cave, you have a rock Pokemon. This makes it pretty easy to attack, but you actually have such a high attack. Horn attack's just about the same. So there's not really a lot of options. The only other options like Bite or Flail, and those moves aren't great. So this playthrough is basically about optimizing, where we got fights and things like that. And the problem in Generation 2, there's a lot of spinners, and you can't avoid some trainers, or maybe in the first playthrough you did avoid the trainers, and the second ones you end up fighting those battles. Now, this is something that happens really rarely, but whenever I do an optimized playthrough, Bellsprout Tower is optional. I don't have to do it right now. I can do it later. But right now, we're doing Bellsprout Tower because if we don't get a decent level, when we go in the Falconer's Gym, the first trainer we face has Peck, and Peck is 4 times effective. We are bug flying, so bug fighting, so we're super weak to flying moves, which is why Falconer's Gym can be such a pain, especially when you're starting out with a Pokemon 4 times weak to it. So the Bellsprout Tower is not an issue. We're going to Horn attack everything. We're going to 2-shot everything in here. Not an issue at all. But now we're going to head into Falconer's Gym. And as you're going to see here, even though we're like way higher level than it, not way higher, we're 2 levels higher, but look how much damage it did. If we were lower level, it could have one-shot us. The crit would have one-shot us there. And this trainer's not an issue, but that's just something I wanted to let you guys know, is we had to be a slightly higher level. So we're not going to be as fast to start this game as I'd like to. I usually like to start the game with 3 or 4 minutes or whatever, but we're going to be a little bit closer to our time we had in the first playthrough because we had to go through Bellsprout Tower to get more levels. So now we're facing Falconer. He comes out with a Pidgey. Pidgey does not have a move that can really do a lot of damage to us, plus we one-shot. And then Pidgeotto is a problem because Gust is available. We do consume our berry and get a little bit more health back, but we 2-shot the Pidgeotto and we get the win over Falconer. And now we're going to compare, and this is what we're going to do in this playthrough. Optimized playthrough, we compare it a lot to the first playthrough. Not a lot of time saved. It's about a little over, just about 30 seconds. It's not much of a savings here because, like I said, we had to go face Bellsprout Tower anyway. I really wish I could have got this done at level 8 or something, or like a lower level to avoid Bellsprout Tower, but it is what it is. So that being said, we're going to leave this gym, and we're going to progress right on to the next area of the game, which is going to be where Bugsy's gym is. A lot of things in between there. You had Union Cave, which, like I said, it helped us out a little bit in Union Cave, having a Seismic Toss because it's set damage and it helps us out with the rock Pokemon we didn't have a great move for. And now we're in Bugsy's gym, and Bugsy's gym, a lot of these trainers in here are just completely abysmal. They're so bad, and I probably shouldn't have put these battles in there. Now, some things about this bug fighting Pokemon, I'll talk about this real quick before we dive into the Bugsy battle. This Pokemon does not actually have good moves in my opinion, at least not good stab moves. Fury Cutter is a move that has like a 1 battle usage, and then it's gone. It's horrible. It's a horrible move. It doesn't work really well with this Pokemon. It is stab, but it just doesn't work very well. There's so many other things we can do that are just so much better with this move. And the other bug move we have is Mega Horn, which we don't even use that, and you'll see that later in the game. We didn't use it in the last playthrough, and we did just fine. So now we're facing Bugsy. Bugsy's Metapod comes out, it's a 2-shot with Horn Attack, very good. We level up, and now we're going to get over a damage round, so we 1-shot the Kakuna. And now we're going to 2-shot, it looks like a 2-shot, yep, 2-shot with the Scyther, super easy, barely an inconvenience. And we've gained about, not quite 3 minutes, about 2.5 minutes on our previous playthrough. So not too bad, but we got some improvement to do. We definitely got some time that we can gain on this. And now we're going to go right into our next battle, which is the most difficult battle of the game in my opinion, which is facing our second rival, because we don't have a lot of good options. This Pokemon gets access to Fury Cutter, which Fury Cutter we added, and it's the only thing that we can get at this point in the game that can hit Ghastly, unless we want to deplete all of our power points, which is not the greatest strategy in the world. It's going to take too much time. And Seismic Toss, I forgot in my like I said, Gen 1 brain, I tried Seismic Toss, and I'm like, nope, that's not going to work. So we're going to go ahead and take a reset, first reset of the game, and we're going to try this battle one more time. The only thing we can do is we can use Leer and soften it up a little bit. That's really the only thing we can do. Now here's the counter of that. Ghastly can't do a lot to us. But it's asleep. Lick does like 1 or 2 damage, which we can take so many licks. The problem with Lick, though, is it can paralyze us eventually, which it does. And we're going to go ahead and try for this, check its win again. But I think what's going to happen is if we get paralyzed, yeah, I think Fuel is going to come out and just obliterate us. But, you know, Horn Attack, it's going to be a 2-shot. Can we hit? Can we hit? Can we hit? Nope, we're not going to hit. We're going to get taken out. So there's our second reset of the game. Now we're going to face this. This is why this battle is difficult. If there was a move that can make this battle just doable, it'd have been amazing to have at this point in the game. But there was no move. There was no move that I was able to use. So this battle is just always going to be a crapshoot. Sometimes sometimes you get lucky, man. And Fury Cutter, we'll go for Leer one more time. We soften it up pretty well. Its defense is -3. So Fury Cutter is doing a lot of damage, and we miss. And now we got to restart the calculator. However, we do get the knockout. We have a lot of health left. We're not paralyzed. We didn't get our Axie lowered. None of that stuff. So all that stuff is good. We knock out the Q-Lava, and Zubat should be a cinch. Once we get through the Zubat, pretty easy. We just got to go ahead and hit Horn Attack. Is it a 1-shot? It is a 1-shot. Very good. We beat our second rival, and we're going to progress right into the forest. We're going to go ahead and pick up a move. We're going to pick up Super Potion first, and we're going to pick up this move, Headbutt. Headbutt, not really unlocks this Pokemon because Horn Attack was doing pretty good, but it is a better move. So we're going to take this move. We're going to grab this Ether, and we're going to grab another Ether, actually. So we grab a Super Potion, an Ether, Headbutt, and we're going to grab that Ether right there. We are now in Goldenrod City, and we're going to take on Whitney. Now, you heard me complain a little bit about bug moves earlier. Now you're going to hear me complain about fighting moves. This Pokemon does not have any good fighting moves at all. I'm going to pause it here for a second, talk about this. On the right side of the screen, there's 4 moves that are in orange. Those are all 4 fighting moves. Counter, Reversal, Rock Smash, Detect. Counter, you have to take damage to deal damage. And it has to be physical damage or it does nothing. It'll always go second, so you have to take damage for this to work. This is how we got around Jasmine and her Steelix, is we let Steelix hit us and we deal back the damage double. So that's what, it was helpful, but it's not helpful in a lot of other battles. Reversal is basically based on your health, like what percentage of health you have. This damage can do like very low damage or very high damage. I think it's too risky. It's not a bad move by any stretch, but they're just better, more consistent options, more predictable, more reliable options, a better way to put it. Rock Smash is garbage, 20 base power, 30 with stab. It's not very good. And in this gym, it'd be great because, you know, Whitney's weak to it because she is normal type. But beyond this, that move has no use at all. And then Detect, I think Detect works like Protect, where you can't attack for like a turn or something like that. I don't know. I've never really used it, so it's not something I'm interested in using. But there's only 4 fighting moves this Pokemon has. This Pokemon would be so much better if it actually had a really good stab move, like maybe Double Kick or Low Kick would be pretty good. Access to Dynamic Punch wouldn't be the worst thing ever, especially in the last battle of the game when we faced Red, and Dynamic Punch would just run Rough Shot over a handful of this Pokemon. But there's the synergy with this Pokemon. A lot of Pokemon Generation 2 are like this, so it's not just Heracross. But the synergy when it comes to what the Pokemon are, their typing, and then their move pool, this doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense at all. It is what it is. This is kind of the creed of Generation 2. But that's the problem with this Pokemon, in my opinion, is it does not have a good bug move, and it does not have a good fighting move. This Pokemon is an absolute beast when it comes to its stats. It really does synergize stats-wise, but its moves do not. But now we're going to take on Whitney. Whitney is a normal type gym leader, and she leads out with the Clefairy. Now again, if we had like just Low Kick, 1-shot. Or Double Kick, that would be a 1-shot. But we don't have that. Headbutt does still do the job pretty well, and Headbutt will be a 3-shot. We do get the flinch on Miltank, we knock it out very good. The worst case scenario in that battle, and I got to go ahead and pause this for a second. I put the wrong thing in, so I'm going to correct that. So we didn't gain a lot of time here. It's only about a minute. but we still got the win. We did come into the same level, so a lot of things are matching up to be exactly the same. So not a lot of difference here, but we do get the win over Whitney, and I'm going to go ahead and close this out real quick. And I made a mistake in the editing process, so I'm doing that in real time. But we do get the win over Whitney. Pretty easy win, and we're going to move right on to face the Rock Tree thing, Sudowoodo. And Sudowoodo is going to come out, and we're basically, I don't even know what we're going to do. I think we're going to use Seismic Toss. I think that's one of the better options here. No, it's not going to do too much. It does a little bit better in Headbutt, so there's not a lot of difference between it and Headbutt, but do get the knockout, do get the win over Sudowoodo, and we're going to progress right on to Lake of Rage. We're going to pick up our Hidden Power, and we went with Hidden Power Rock. I explained this in the last video. Hidden Power Rock solves a lot of our problems. Hidden Power Ground was one I saw another YouTuber do, and I did a playthrough with Hidden Power Ground, and it's just absolutely not abysmal, but at some point in the game it gets to a point where you can't get by things, and Hidden Power Rock solves a lot of those problems. We're at the Komodo Girls right now, and this is an opportunity I'd like to ask everyone. Please make sure you like this video, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe. Liking and commenting get the algorithm going, get out to more people. The original Heracross video I did last week has like over 500 views. I mean, it may not seem like a lot to a lot of people, but to me, that's a lot of views. For a YouTuber that's just been doing this for a couple years and trying to get some traction, starting to get traction. So comments and likes, I reply to everyone. And I'll answer pretty much any question you have as long as it's respectful. And then subscribing tells YouTube you're willing to come back and watch my videos. Got a lot of subscribers in the last week. That's been pretty fun as well. We're up to 600, I think it's 654. But we beat the Komodo Girls, and we'll progress right on to our third rival battle in Pokemon Tower. Now, this is where Hidden Power Ground would be slightly better, because Hidden Power Ground would be effective against all three of the four Pokemon, and then we can just use Return on Zubat. However, Hidden Power Rock still does very well. It does well against Haunter, it does well against Kulava, it does well against the Zubat, and Magnemite. It is not weak to Hidden Power Rock, but it still does a decent amount of damage to Magnemite. Actually, Seismic Toss does very well in this battle because Magnemite is resistant to the other moves. But we move right on to face Morty. Morty is the Ghost/Poison gym leader, and he leads out with a Ghastly. Hidden Power Rock will one-shot the Ghastly, very good. Haunter comes out, Hidden Power Rock is effective on it as well. Gengar is the only one, it's not a one-shot, but what does Gengar do? Gengar goes for Hypnosis and he misses, very good. And then Haunter will be a one-shot as well. So Hidden Power Ground would have one-shot everything there. Hidden Power Rock almost one-shots everything there. We have gained about, well, not quite 3 minutes, about 2 minutes and 20 seconds on our original playthrough. Like I said, there's not a lot of optimization with this. We didn't get a better move that makes early game like easier and nothing like that. That's the kind of the system, the thing that we have. So where we're going to gain time is by, eliminating some battles here and there. But like I said, it's Generation 2. There's spinners everywhere. You can't really avoid that. Right now we're in Chucky Boy's gym, and as you can see, we are one-shotting everything in Chucky Boy's gym. We're going to face Chuck. He's a gym leader. He is a fighting specialist. And honestly, it'd be pretty cool if he actually had a Heracross on his team. Maybe in I think in Pokemon Legacy by Smith Plays Pokemon, I think he added a Heracross to this team. But we one-shot the Primeape. We do not one-shot the Poliwrath, but we went for a flinch there, and it worked. And we did a good job there. So now we're up to 2 minutes of time gained. Yeah, we're not gaining too much time. Like I said, there's not a lot of difference between the last playthrough and this one. When it comes to like moves and stuff, we didn't add an extra move, we didn't add anything special. Seismic Toss was not that great, and Seismic Toss is like another example of a bad fighting move this Pokemon gets. If I was able to get like low kick or double kick, a lot of things can change with this Pokemon. I might do a what if scenario, like what if Heracross had like a fighting move like double kick or something like that. But now we're going to face Price. Price is the Ice Gym Leader, I should say. He's out with a Seal, so he gets one shot by Return. Dugong goes down to a 2-shot with Return. And then Poliwrath is the last Pokemon. And we're going to go for Return. He's going to full heal here. Blizzard does a decent amount of damage, but we kind of tank it pretty well. And we're going to go for Return again. It's a 2-shot. We knock out Price. And now we've actually just around 2 minutes. We're hovering around that 2-minute mark with every gym leader here. And we're not gaining that much time. And you see the reason why. There's nothing we did that was drastically different than the last playthrough. And now we're going to go ahead and face Jasmine. Jasmine leaves out with a Magnemite. We've equipped a Paralyzed Cure Berry because Jasmine likes to go for a Thunder Wave, and we're going to heal from the Thunder Wave. We knock out the Magnemite, very good. And now Steelix comes out. We have full health, which is good. So now we're going for Counter, and Counter's going to go ahead and as soon as we can hit, it's going to do a lot of damage. And Counter does nothing, like I said earlier, it does absolutely nothing when you're sitting there waiting on this Pokemon to actually hit you with something. You do get the knockout. And here's the thing, I didn't think of Headbutt as an option to take on the first Magnemite to avoid using the Paralyzed Cure Berry, but we do get the knockout, do get the win, and we're still on a 2-minute, it's up to about a 3-minute pace now. We're up to almost 3 minutes faster than the previous playthrough. We're going to leave this battle, and we're going to go right into the next phase of the game, which is the Rocket plot line, which I don't show. And we're going to have a rival Claire rival sandwich. A rival comes out. We should have return, hidden power, rock, headbutt, and counter. Like I said, counter is not useful at all. We're going to one-shot the Golbat. We're going to one-shot the Lava. And the next Pokemon will come out as Haunter. We're going to one-shot the Haunter with hidden power rock. Very good. That leaves 2 Pokemon left. Sneasel, Pleasel, which is actually the next Pokemon I'm playing through, so that's exciting. And then the last Pokemon is a Magnemite. The only thing you really got to worry about in this battle is Magnemite likes to go for, Thunder Wave. But we do get the knockout because we get a flinch. We get a win over our rival and move right on to Claire. Claire is a Dragon Gym Leader, and she's going to lead out with a Dragonair. Now, Dragonairs will go down to 1 return. So we don't have to worry about the Dragonairs. We got a good range here. I don't know if it's like way over it or if it barely hits it, but regardless, we get the knockout over all 3 of the Dragonairs. Pretty easy. That leads to the next member of her team, which is Kingdra. We go for a headbutt on the Kingdra, which prevents it from going for anything, and we get the knockout. And now we've gained just about 4 minutes. We're at 4 minutes of improvement on the previous playthrough. So with that being said, we beat Claire, and she's going to make us go to this stupid cave to get our gym badge. But now we're going to go in here and face our final rival battle of the game. He's going to come out, and he's going to lead out with a Sneasel. We've added Earthquake in place of counter, and we pretty much have our moveset for the rest of the game. We're going to one-shot the Sneasel. We are going to one-shot, I think we're going to one-shot every Pokemon in here, honestly. We're going to one-shot the Golbat with Hidden Power Rock. We're going to one-shot the Typhlosion with Hidden... Ooh, no. We should have gone for Earthquake. It's a little bit more powerful. I thought it'd be just good enough to knock it out, but no cigar. But we get the knockout over Haunter. We get the knockout over Kadabra. Very good. And then the final Pokemon is Magneton. It is weak to Earthquake, 4 times weak. So we get the knockout, get the win, and we're going to move right on to the Elite Four. And now we're at the Pokemon League. We're going to take on the Elite Four. The first man Elite Four is going to be Will. Will is a Psychic Specialist, and he leads out with a Xatu. Without Hidden Power Rock, this battle becomes chancy. Very chancy, because Return is not going to be a one-shot. Hidden Power Rock one-shots the Xatu, which means we don't have to deal with Confuse Ray, we don't have to deal with getting hit by Psychic, and we one-shot the second Xatu. So that means Jinx will go down as well to Hidden Power Rock. And because we're going with a strategy with Headbutt, we're going to go for Headbutt on the Executor, makes it so he flinches, and then Return knocks it out. That leaves 1 Pokemon left, which is Slowbro, and we should have gone for Flinch here to prevent it from upping its stats, but, it's a 3-hit regardless. We get the win, get the knockout over Slowbro. You just never know. Get a critical hit there and done way more damage than needed to. And now we're going to move right on to Koga. And Koga is the Poison Specialist of the Elite Four, and he leads out with an Ariados. We pretty much have a move for every Pokemon except for 1. We're going to one-shot the Ariados with Hidden Power Rock. We're going to one-shot the Venomoth with Hidden Power Rock as well. And then the next Pokemon to come out is Crobat. I should have gone for Headbutt here. Get the flinch and then go for Hidden Power Rock on the second turn after get the flinch to prevent him from healing first off, but also prevent him from lowering our ability to hit him. He didn't lower actually up his evasiveness. Earthquake is a 3-hit on the Fortress, and this battle gets a lot closer on life. We're down to 43 hit points, but Earthquake is a one-shot on the Muck because it is 2 times effective. We beat Koga, and we move right on to Bruno. We don't usually talk about Bruno very much in this battle. He really doesn't have a lot he can do against us, but we really don't have a lot we can do against him either, other than just being more powerful than him. So we're going to headbutt the Hitmontop, which the goal there was to headbutt the Hitmontop and make it so that it can't attack us. It is what it is. We took very little damage from Quick Attack. Very good. And we're going to go for Headbutt on the Hitmonchan. Return on the Hitmonchan. It's a 2-hit knockout. The goal there was to flinch it so it didn't hit us with like Ice Punch or Fire Punch, which were weak to, but with his low special attack, it didn't do a lot of damage to us. We're going to 2-hit the Machamp. Very good. Hitmonlee was a one-shot, and Onyx is going to go down to 1 Earthquake. So Bruno is pretty much pretty easy battle here. Other Pokemon, it's a pretty difficult battle. And now here is the sweep killer right here. So if you're going to sweep the Elite Four, Karen's usually the most difficult one. However, Headbutt works perfectly with Return, and we avoid all the shenanigans from Umbreon with Confuse Ray and Sand Attack. And then we get paralyzed by the Vileplume, which is awesome. But we're going to knock out the Vileplume, and we have 3 Pokemon left. Now, all 3 of these Pokemon, we have a one-shot capacity with. Earthquake will one-shot the Gengar, Hidden Power Rock will one-shot the Murkrow, and Houndoom will one-shot the... Houndoom get one-shot by Earthquake, let me rephrase that. However, if it hits us, we could get knocked out by Flamethrower, but we tank it because our special defense is pretty high. It's actually higher than our physical defense. I didn't really realize that until I was doing this voiceover. But now we're going to go ahead and face the champion of the Elite Four, the Liar with the Flyers, which is going to be Danhausen. I mean, not Danhausen, I'm sorry. Lance. Lance the Liar with the Flyers. And I say that, and I pause this for a specific reason. And this is why I chose Hidden Power Rock. is because Hidden Power Rock is going to make a lot of these Pokemon pretty much obsolete. Without Hidden Power Rock, we're relying on Return, and a lot of more Headbutt than we're going to be relied upon in this battle, but a lot more Headbutt. Potentially Mega Horn can be used here as like a boom or bust kind of strategy, but even so, it's not going to do that much damage because these Pokemon are pretty physically bulky. But we're going to go ahead and face out the Gyarados. Now, we actually went for Headbutt on the Gyarados. That's not actually the best strategy. You kind of want the rain to come out, and you're going to see why here in a minute. But Aerodactyl goes down to 1 Hidden Power Rock, and then Charizard goes down to 1 Hidden Power Rock. Both Charizard and Aerodactyl both have Wing Attack, and they are 4 times effective against us, so we don't want that. Now, we're going to try for a Headbutt on the Dragonite. We don't get the knockout, but we do get hit by Fire Blast. Now, that's why I said letting the rain come out with Gyarados is actually a good thing, because then Dragonite either A, won't go for Fire Blast because it sees the rain's out, or B, when it does, it doesn't do that much damage. So now we're going to try this again, and we stupidly go for Headbutt. Again, we should have just gone for Hidden Power Rock or Return. It's still going to be a 2-shot regardless. But now the rain's out. We're going to one-shot the Aerodactyl, very good. We're going to one-shot the Charizard, very good. It's 4 times weak to Hidden Power Rock, very good. And then we have a Dragonite come out again, and we're going to go for Headbutt on the Dragonite, getting a flinch. Now I should have gone for Hidden Power Rock. I went for Return. I'm stupid. That would have been a knockout there, but now we're going to play with these full restore shenanigans and Headbutt. We don't get hit by Fire Blast. It misses, thank goodness. Now we have 2 Pokemon left. We're going to go for Headbutt on the Dragonite. Now that's good. It missed us, which is awesome on Thunder Wave. We probably still could have won even if it hit Thunder Wave, like we win right now because this Dragonite hits Thunder Wave. But we still get the 2-hit knockout. We get the win over Lance/Danhausen. Now we're going to look at our time, lock in with the Elite Four, compare it to our previous time. I said in the beginning there wasn't going to be a lot of time change in this because optimization was adding Seismic Toss, and that move was pretty obsolete after Union Cave. So, just being honest with you there. But, I mean, it's still an improvement of time nonetheless. It's actually, the real optimization is probably the difference between Hidden Power Ground and Hidden Power Rock. That's probably the true optimization. However, we still have Kanto to play through. I'm not going to showcase all the Kanto stuff. I'm going to showcase you the last 2 battles in Kanto. Those are the ones I think are the most significant, and those are the ones that were actually the most difficult. So I'll see you guys in Kanto. And we have all but 7 of the badges. Now we're leading into our 8th gym leader of the game. The last gym leader we have to face before we go face red, and that is blue. Really, the optimization that happened in this playthrough specifically was I was able to optimize Kanto. I think I'm getting Kanto down to like almost a science, where you can get through Kanto pretty fast. And that's a good thing, because if I can improve that, I can definitely improve some of the times of previous Pokemon I played through that took me forever to get through some things. And we're at 1 hour and 15 minutes and 50 seconds. We left Johto at 1 hour and 41 seconds. So 15 minutes, we've gotten through a lot of the gym leaders here. Pretty good optimization on my part. I was able to route it and be efficient with my movements, and I really enjoyed that part. So Headbutt on the Gyarados, it flinches. Hidden Power Rock should knock it out very good. And we have 2 Pokemon left, and one of these Pokemon, Exeggutor, is like a really big pain in the butt. Don't know why I went for Earthquake there. Should have gone for Headbutt. It is what it is. We'll get the knockout event. Nope, no, we're not. It's going to heal. It looks like it's going to be a 2-shot with Return anyway. That's good. And now Rhydon comes out, and we go for Earthquake on the Rhydon. And we don't get a 2-hit. We would have got a 2-hit, but we don't get the knockout. So he knocks us out, so we take a reset. It's our 4th reset of the game. So now we're going to try this again. Hidden Power Rock is a 1-shot on Pidgeot. Got it. That one's pretty easy. Arcanine comes out, and we should go for Headbutt. There we go. Now it's flinched. Earthquake will knock it out. Very good. Avoiding the flamethrower from Arcanine is actually a pretty big deal. Alakazam's a 1-shot. Gyarados comes out. We're going to go for Headbutt on the Gyarados. We don't get the flinch. Rain comes out. Not a big deal. It's not going to affect anything else in the battle. Exeggutor comes out. You should go for Headbutt on the Exeggutor. And we get seated. Not a big deal. Hidden Power Rock is a knockout. Very good. And then Rhydon comes out. We got to go for Earthquake on the Rhydon. We're going to get seated here. Not a big deal. But we're going to go ahead and knock it out with Earthquake number 2. Get the win over blue. That's what progresses us right into our next battle, which is going to be against red. Red is not the champion, but pretty much the pinnacle of the game. And we're going to face him, and he leads out with a Pikachu. Pikachu, we're down to 1 Earthquake. Very good. And now we're going to rely a little bit on strategy here. The next Pokemon to come out is Venusaur. We're going to go for Headbutt on the Venusaur. Nope, Return on the Venusaur. Looks like it's going to be a 3-shot. Go for Headbutt, so he doesn't hit us, and then Headbutt again, so we have full health going into the Charizard. Charizard will go down to 1 Hidden Power Rock. Very good. Without Hidden Power Rock, that's a chance. That's a Headbutt and a Return on a Pokemon that can just 1-shot us. Now, we wanted to go for Headbutt on the Espeon, because then it can, not attack us with Psychic, but also Espeon likes to go for Reflect, which lowers our output of damage on the next Pokemon, or the following Pokemon, I should say. Now we go for Snorlax, Headbutt, we get flinches, and we get 3 straight flinches. So we did that. That worked out perfectly. I did not anticipate it working out that well. And with leftovers, we recovered enough health that I'm very confident going into the Blastoise. We are going to go for Headbutt just to be safe, make sure it can't get anything crazy. It could go for Blizzard and freeze us. And with that being said, we get the win, we get the knockout over Red, and we have an improvement of over 10 minutes with our optimization. So we're at about 3 minutes of improvement whenever we got done with the Elite Four. By minimizing battles in Kanto and being efficient, we were able to save another 7 minutes. This is where the Pokemon was standing in the first playthrough it had. It's in 12th place right behind Murkrow. I think it's way better than Murkrow, so I don't understand why it's here. But in the first playthrough, that's what we got. We got 12th place. Now it has moved up to 6th place, right behind Feraligatr, right in the sub A tier. It's under 80 minutes. It was an hour and 76 minutes or 79 minutes and 20 seconds or something like that. So we did very well. I'm very happy with the results of this Pokemon. Some things about this Pokemon, which I'm going to talk about, and then we're going to talk about the next things on this channel. Like I said, if this Pokemon just had better moves, if it had like access to a low kick early game, it'd be very effective, it'd be very useful. If it had access to double kick, if it had access to maybe high jump kick. There's other moves out there as well, and I don't know all the fighting moves offhand, but there's access to dynamic punch might be useful somewhere, just something like that. But this is another example of Generation 1's pretty bad about this too. That's because the game was janky and they were just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what stuck. Generation 2 is more refined, and the fact that a lot of these move pools in Generation 2 are just still garbage, it bears repeating, but it just is what it is. I don't mean to complain. I'm not trying to complain about it. It is what it is. I do love these playthroughs. I do love doing playthroughs in Generation 2. It's just kind of a frustration I have with Game Freak that someone designs it doesn't feel like the person who designs the Pokemon gets to pick the moves. It's like, okay, you design the Pokemon, okay, your worst enemy is going to do everything it can to make this Pokemon worse. And these Pokemon aren't going to synergize. So it is what it is. But my thoughts on Heracross, I think it's a good Pokemon. I've used it in playthroughs. I think it's a great part of a team as like a powerful bug type. In a solo run, its lack of its stab moves really do hold it back a little bit. Whereas if you look at all 5 of the Pokemon in front, every one of those Pokemon has a stab move that it can hang its hat on, that it can do stuff with. And Heracross does not have that luxury. Great Pokemon, love the design. I think this is what this Pokemon should have been. There's like so many things. Dig is another example. This is a beetle. Beetles dig. It literally is what they do. That's what that horn is for. On the front of its face is for digging. If you look at a beetle, it definitely burrows into things and digs. I don't know why this Pokemon doesn't get dig. I digress. I don't want to complain anymore about this, about Game Freak. They are what they are. And, love them or hate them, they still created, probably the best IP in the world. Let's talk a little bit about what's coming out later this week. So this Friday, and we're having a playthrough of Pokemon Blue with Arbok. This is part of our Poison type challenge for who the best Poison type Pokemon is in Generation 1, Pokemon Blue. And Arbok is next on the list. I think he's the second to last Pokemon, actually. So we have Arbok, and then I think next week we have, Golbat. Golbat will be the last Pokemon in the Poison type challenge, and then we'll have, hopefully I can get some playthroughs done and get a recap. It's been hard getting playthroughs done. Been busy lately in my life and things like that. I'm still trying to get the rock types done. I got 3 of the rock types done this weekend, but I have 3 more to go before I can do a final recap of the rock type. But the poison type, we'll get them done nonetheless, and eventually all this stuff will be finished. And then next week, next Wednesday, a week from today, we have a playthrough of Pokemon Crystal with Sneasel. Never used Sneasel before, never used it at all. I'm very interested about this Pokemon. It's a dark ice type, that's why I use the icy background here. And I think it's going to be very interesting. I'm very curious to see how this Pokemon plays out. Well, what do you think? What's the strategy you think I should use with Sneasel? Are you excited about the optimized playthrough? We can start out with Bite. All those good things. Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment. All those things get out to more people. If you share it, that's also pretty cool. I don't hate that either. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below about everything. About the playthrough. What do you think of Heracross? About my playthrough on Friday, the playthrough next week. Anything and everything is on the table. Just make sure we're respectful, okay? Have a good one. I'll see you guys next time.